Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine as we throw the highlights on distance running again. We did it last week with Jake Brophy. Now we do it with Kevin Murray. And for you too, you had the extra experience of steeplechase racing as well. The distance running, I understand, but what possesses someone, and obviously I've seen it at the Olympic level, but what possesses someone to add the steeplechase challenge to the distance running?
I would say it's the attraction of broken rhythm running. Similar to cross country, where you have hills, terrain, everything mixing up a regular distance event. In steeplechase, the barriers they don't allow anyone to get comfortable. My teammate Jake is a phenomenal athlete, loves to sit and kick on other competitors. Me, I prefer a long, hard grind from the start, and that's something that you tend to get in steeplechase.
In terms of, and I asked him the same question, you're out there against other competitors. How do you run your race within the competition, but also making sure you keep tabs on where your other competitors are? Because at the same time, you pretty much have to pace yourself to your race, but how do you manage the balance of both inside of the same race?
Yeah, it's complicated. My old Coach Al Cantello, used to talk about race maturity, and that's a concept that I've worked on my whole time here because you can only focus on so many things when you're on the track at one time, and you need to have mentally prepared yourself for the race and just have the experience, which no one can coach, to be able to process things kind of in the back of your mind. Like in the same way that you don't really hound your speedometer when you're driving your car, you check it and you know that, yes, that's right, check that box. I'm hitting the splits I need to. I'm in striking distance on my competitors, or I know where they are behind me. I know how much room I have left to make a move and what I need to do to close the race and win it.
I was gonna say it's a lot. It sounds like a lot of preparation, and it's also a lot of quick decision making within the course of a race. Do you ever find sometimes, hey, this isn't quite the game plan? Maybe I got to go now as opposed to the plan that you go into a race with sometimes?
Absolutely. An example that comes to mind for me was last year, our indoor Patriot League championships, we had the pleasure of hosting. During the 5,000 meter, my plan was to hang around for a little while, but no one took the race out. My coach initially told me, wait till you see single digits, 9 laps to go in a 25 lap race, and then make a long drive for home. But instead, with 19 laps to go, it was just stagnant. And if I waited too long, it was going to become a half mile instead of a 5K. So changed the plan, went early, and in that case, it worked out for me, worked out for my teammate as well, Julian Perez.
How much does something like what Jake did motivate everybody else within the team concept? I mean, we talk about how everything you all do is individual unless you're in a relay or something like that, but yet it's all within the team concept. You're all over there training together, so to speak, within Wesley Brown. How does something like that motivate other people with it within the room?
It it's hard to put in words. I mean, since we sat down, it's been hard not to talk about Jake going 3:59, breaking 4 minutes. That's the holy grail of distance running. I mean, back in the 50s before Bannister broke it, people said it couldn't be done. Um, and it's not just now. Jake's been pursuing this goal for a really long time. I ran with him all week, the week before. We were talking about what would you do if, what would you do if, what would you do if, and it was apparent even then that he was going up to Boston to do whatever he had to do to break four. Now he's done it. Now he has that feather in his cap, and it's not over. I mean, Coach Lanzel predicted that Jake will go sub four again. There's plenty more road ahead of Jake, plenty more to accomplish, and his fitness isn't going anywhere. So Army, watch out. Yeah, everyone's excited for Jake. Everyone has seen, our younger guys have seen that can be done in 4 years here as a midshipman. There's there's nothing to stop anyone. It's really motivating.
I was going to say for you too, you look at your stuff and you've obviously continued that gradual progression of beating, previous times. Are you satisfied, at least right now, with the progress you continue to make in a positive direction? Is every time you get out there in a pretty significant happening, you're lowering and lowering your times?
I'm satisfied. Looking back on my college career, it's always been continual goal setting, reevaluation. I've always been happy to do what I do here. Track and field is one of the highlights of my life as a midshipman. Really, the highlight of my life as a midshipman. Very recently, I recently PR'd in the 3,000 meters, right. Hit almost an identical time a week later, and I, really want to work that down and be absolutely secure in my fitness going into outdoor, where I want to once again pursue regional qualification, hopefully competition at the national championships in the steeplechase. But I'm happy. I'm content. Not content, always hungry, but I'm happy with the progress.
All right, speaking of hungry, let's have a little fun here. Now, you're obviously a well-conditioned athlete. What is a food that we probably perceive that you can't have during training that you do have and probably like a lot?
Ooh, that's a tricky one because a lot of the typical can't haves we do stick to and don't have them. I think you would be surprised. Like people think of peanut butter is a pretty fatty food, but our whole team we have dinner together every night, and you'll have like a whole meal, and then you'll make yourself a peanut butter and honey sandwich, and we'll sit around for 40 minutes just chatting in King Hall.
See, I'm a big fan of peanut butter and honey, so I'm glad to hear that. See, the protein factor.
Of course.
Obviously, you got to have some protein. Obviously, with what lies ahead this weekend for you individually and then you all as a group, what does it take to accomplish your goals coming up this weekend?
We look good on the performance list right now. I think people need to, the classic do your jobs, execute as they have been executing. I will say the performance list is slightly biased in our favor because at least on the distance side, we've competed more than Army has. We've tried to get our guys on the track in real competition to give them those real gut checks and know what they're capable of. And they're ready. We have a lot of young milers that are chomping at the bit, that have fast times already and are ready to not only run fast, but to compete and win races. I'd say I hope that guys are getting to bed tonight, well every night this week, resting easy, knowing that they have the fitness. They just need the passion. They need to bring it on race day, be excited, and we'll do well.
How much does having training partners like that help all of you?
Oh, immensely. I relied heavily on the upper class when I was a young midshipman, and now I hope that I'm paying it forward to the underclass. And they're still a challenge to me. I cannot stand that Julian Perez just beat my mile PR in a recent race. And he's joking that I never need to run the mile again. But that burns you a little bit, and you're always driven to leave a legacy, to leave it better than you found it, and to spur the next generation onwards. And at the same time, I'm spurred onwards by the youngsters beneath me. Because I don't want to be beaten by some sophomore or some junior. I'm a senior on the team. I should have the best PR. So they hold us accountable. They keep us on track and make sure that this isn't the classroom. You can't coast through your final semester. You're trying to go out strong and leave a mark on Navy track and field.
All right. Best of luck to you and all your teammates coming up this weekend.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Kevin Murray joining us here on the Navy Sports Magazine.